York Knicks appear to be open to trading key role player Deuce McBride in an effort to cut cap space, and we have to talk about it. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into the video as we always do, because there's been some recent reports from Fred Katz that show the Knicks are open to trading Deuce McBride in an effort to cut cap space. Now, the Mikal Bridges trade essentially isn't finalized. It's going to happen and all that, and they've both agreed on the deal and all, but it doesn't finalize until another few days. And the Knicks can still add to it. They can technically add Deuce McBride if they want to get another first somewhere and cut the cap space. As right now, Mikal Bridges makes around $3 million more than Bojan Bogdanovic, which is fine. The Knicks don't need to make it more even on the cap situation. But if they want to make their own situation a little bit easier, they could add McBride in the trade and get a first-round pick back. Or at least that's what Fred Katz has said could happen. So let's just take a look. Because according to Fred Katz, the Knicks discussed the possibility of including Deuce McBride into the Bridges trade according to league sources, and not because they want to trade him away. It's more, even though it's just $13 million over the next 3 years, if the Knicks wanted to, they could find a third team to send him to, acquire a first-round pick, and then in the process avoid that first apron hard cap. The first apron has a lot of restrictions to it, nothing like the second apron, which is absolutely killer for a team because the NBA is trying to prevent super teams and all that, which is for the best. But the Knicks are paying out a lot of money. They gave OG Anunoby that $42 million per year contract. They acquired Mikal Bridges making $23 million. Jalen Brunson's going to be due for an extension soon. Julius Randle's going to be due for an extension soon. Isaiah Hartenstein is a free agent. There's a very good chance that we will see him walk from the Knicks because they just cannot afford him, and also a team might offer him more money. But just to show you guys exactly what happens with one of these situations, essentially the Knicks, Heat, and Lakers are all under the first or all above the first apron, but not above the second apron. And essentially what this means is they can't take in more salaries in a trade than they're sending out. Their mid-level exception is no longer at $12 million. It goes down to $5.2 million for their taxpayer, not their non-taxpayer mid-level exception. That stays the same, I believe. They cannot sign buyout players, and unless it's under $12.9 million that their contract got bought out from, and they cannot use trade exceptions from the previous season. So there is a good amount of restrictions, and Brock Gallagher is a cap wizard. He is the Knicks assistant GM, and that is why he's so good at his job. He's very good at allocating these finances and making sure all these salaries work and making sure the Knicks are not getting these restrictions. However, so much has happened. We did not really expect Mikal Bridges to go to the Brooklyn Nets and say, hey, by the way, I want to be traded to the Knicks, and if you don't move me here, any team that you try to trade me to, I will tell them that I'm going to sign with the Knicks when I become a free agent. And it's the same deal with you guys. If you guys keep me here, I am going to sign with the Knicks as a free agent. So you might as well just trade me there anyway and save us all the time. Because that happened, the Knicks pounced. And it was the right move, don't get me wrong. But now they're in a situation where their cap space is a little less flexible than it already was. So trading Deuce McBride might be something they'd have to do. And it seems like if they had to, they would. I don't think they are going to. It seems like Fred Katz has kind of indicated that the Knicks really don't want to do that, and they're trying to move away from that option. So it's pretty unlikely that Deuce would get traded. But they also kind of drafted a replacement for Deuce McBride in none other than Tyler Kolek, who was picked by the New York Knicks 34th overall yesterday, or 33rd overall. The Knicks traded up to the Portland Trail Blazers. They gave 3 second-round picks. They actually wanted Tyler Kolek way earlier than this. They love this guy. They think he is an instant impact prospect. He's 23 years old. He's ready to go today. He's going to be at Summer League leading the offense. Tibbs will be watching. And this is not someone who's your regular second-round pick. He's a guy who everyone was kind of surprised that he fell that far. Tyler Kolek even said, I'm not surprised I fell that far. I've been an underdog my whole life. I'm not concerned about this. But there has been a lot of reports that the New York Knicks really, really wanted to land Tyler Kolek. And essentially, CBS Sports mentioned that because the Knicks can sign guys for the minimum and the second round pick exception, which gives you just some room to sign these second rounders like Kolek, like the two other guys they drafted who we'll get into in a moment, for 3 or 4 years without using the mid-level exception, or you can give them two-way contracts. Now, one of them is going to get a two-way contract because the Knicks had the final pick in the draft, and Ariel Hukporti, he is going to be a two-way guy. But it is also important to note when it comes to Kolek specifically, the Knicks, they want to give him a cheap contract, and they want to use him to be very good for this team. As Kevin O'Connor mentions here, the Knicks love him. There was a ton of noise that they'd take him in the first round, and he's a steal at this point in the second round. He's a bucket getter, can reliably run the show, great depth behind Brunson, and with so many wings, they can play maybe both at once. O'Connor actually had Tyler Kolek going to the Knicks 24th overall in his final NBA mock draft before the draft happened. So clearly there was a lot of noise that the Knicks liked Tyler Kolek. They went out there, they brought him in, they looked at him for the first round, but decided, hey, we could use that second round exception. It sounds like he's not going to get picked in the first round. Let's wait a day, trade back in the draft, land a total of 6 second round picks when you consider that they traded for 26 and 51, and then also used 26 to trade for 5 future second rounders with the Thunder because Sam Presti and Leon Rose might just be best friends or something. They make trades every single season. So really, right now, the New York Knicks have figured out a way to pay Tyler Kolek less money while he could be an instant impact player, especially if the Knicks do decide to trade Deuce. That was kind of where my mind went when they picked him. I loved the pick, don't get me wrong. But now you have Rokas Jokubaitis, who was waiting in the wings, and now he's just probably looking at his situation over there, and it's like, I'm not going over to the Knicks because I'm not going to get playing time, and I'm only going to play for the Knicks if I can get playing time. Well, Tyler Kolek just basically took his spot. And maybe the Knicks are thinking about using Kolek to take Deuce's spot also. Obviously, Kolek is nowhere near the defender that Deuce McBride is. He's a better offensive player. Probably Deuce is probably going to be a better shooter as of next season. But Tyler Kolek does have a higher ceiling, I'd say. I could see why the Knicks would do that. I also do want to keep Deuce. As much as I'm hyping up Tyler Kolek as a prospect just because I think he's really good and I think he's the steal of the draft, go check out my video on that. But separately, I love Deuce also. I don't want to see Deuce leave. I liked the pick because I thought it meant Deuce would really get to run the 2 more, and I prefer to see Deuce on offense spotting up and creating his own shot that way. I think that is the best position for Deuce McBride personally. So it's something I'm very interested into seeing. And guys, there is more. Because over the last decade, only 2 players have won the Big East Player of the Year in a season where they shot over 40% from the floor and 39% from 3 and 80% from the free throw line. And those are Tyler Kolek and Jalen Brunson, 2 New York Knicks. And then when it comes to the other 2 guys who the Knicks drafted, there's Kevin McCullough Jr., who I think is a great prospect. I don't know how he fell this far in the draft. I mean, the fact that he got picked after Bronny James is insane. I think Bronny's better than people are giving him credit for. Remember, before the cardiac arrest, he was a first-round pick. So people do have to kind of give Bronny a break. But Kevin McCullough Jr. just should have gone earlier than this. This was a steal for the Knicks. I love this draft pick. And then Ariel Hukporti, they get another big man at the very end of the draft. The same thing they did with Jericho Sims. It's the second time Leon Rose has picked a center, 58th overall. As I said, the other one being Sims. The Knicks started with 2 firsts and a second rounder. They ended with 1 first and 3 seconds and some future second round picks, meaning their finances get easier, meaning keeping Deuce McBride is a lot easier. So that's something that we should all be very excited about. As we know, Tyler Kolek, though, could be very well trying to take the spot of Deuce McBride. So I'm interested into seeing what happens, guys. Let me know what you think down below. Is Kolek coming for Deuce's spot? Is that one of the reasons why the Knicks drafted him, or is it not related and the Knicks want to play them together? Let me know what you guys think. Should the Knicks trade Deuce? I have a feeling it's going to be an overwhelming no, because that's what I would say. I'd be like, hell no, don't trade Deuce McBride. He's only going to get better. He's 23 years old. He's really good. I'm a huge fan of Deuce. I think he's such a good personality for this team. I hope he sticks around for the long haul. He's a guy who's an instant impact player in Deuce. He's going to just be so helpful down the stretch for the bench team. So can't wait to watch Deuce play. I don't think he's getting traded. I'd actually be stunned if he did. But we'll report it if we do. So make sure you're staying tuned, subscribe, like this video, turn on post notifications so you don't miss a video. Have a phenomenal day, guys. It's Friday. Let's get wild. we're back. Go Knicks.